Have you ever wondered how a tiny island nation with no natural resources is quietly shaping the future of the global semiconductor industry? While the world's attention is fixed on chip giants like the US, China, and Taiwan, Singapore has been steadily positioning itself as a key player in this high-stakes game, accounting for 10% of global chip production and nearly a fifth of the world's chip-making equipment. But how did this happen, and what challenges lie ahead for Singapore's semiconductor ambitions? In this documentary, we'll uncover the secrets behind Singapore's rise as a semiconductor powerhouse, exploring the bold strategies, innovations, and global investments that made it a leader. Be sure to watch till the end as we uncover how US policies could threaten Singapore's ambitious future in this industry. Singapore's journey into the semiconductor industry dates back decades, with a pivotal moment in 1986 when the country became the second nation in the world to enter the semiconductor foundry business. This bold move set the stage for Singapore to become a key player in the global semiconductor market, attracting over a dozen semiconductor fabricators, each with investments of $1 billion or more. At that time, China, now a dominant force in the industry, didn't even have a single commercial semiconductor foundry. This early leap sparked the rapid development of a thriving semiconductor ecosystem in Singapore, drawing in global equipment makers, material developers, and a host of supporting industries. Today, Singapore is home to some of the industry's biggest names, such as Micron, Global Foundries, STMicroelectronics, and Applied Materials. But why has Singapore emerged as one of the world's most attractive destinations for semiconductor companies? The answer lies in a combination of strategic advantages that make the city-state an ideal hub for this high-stakes industry. First and foremost, Singapore offers unparalleled political and economic stability. In an industry where a single disruption can result in billions of dollars in losses, companies cannot afford uncertainty. Unlike other regions where geopolitical tensions, policy unpredictability, or sudden regulatory changes pose risks, Singapore has built a global reputation for its neutrality, sound governance, and business-friendly policies. This stability provides semiconductor giants with the confidence to make long-term investments without fear of sudden upheavals. Another critical factor is Singapore's robust intellectual property protection. Semiconductors are the backbone of modern technology, and the research and development that drive innovation in this space are highly sensitive. A single leak of proprietary chip designs or advanced manufacturing processes could cost companies their competitive edge. Singapore's stringent IP laws ensure that businesses can operate with peace of mind, knowing that their breakthroughs and trade secrets are safeguarded against infringement or theft. This trust in the legal framework has been instrumental in attracting leading chipmakers to set up shop in the country. Infrastructure is another pillar of Singapore's success in the semiconductor industry. Unlike general manufacturing, chip fabrication requires extremely controlled environments. Factories must be built on vibration-tested land to prevent disruptions to the intricate lithography process. Singapore has meticulously designed its industrial parks to meet these exacting standards. Additionally, the government has invested heavily in state-of-the-art research facilities, further reinforcing the country's position as a leader in semiconductor innovation. Beyond physical infrastructure, Singapore's strength lies in its skilled workforce. The country has developed a highly specialized talent pool of around 35,000 semiconductor professionals, with continuous efforts to nurture and expand this expertise. Collaborations between the government, education institutions, and industry leaders have created a steady pipeline of talent. Initiatives like the Singapore Industry Scholarships and the IC Design Summer Camp ensure that young engineers receive the necessary training to excel in semiconductor design and manufacturing, keeping the workforce ahead of global competition. Finally, Singapore's supply chain efficiency gives it a crucial advantage. As a global logistics hub, the country provides semiconductor companies with seamless access to international markets. Raw materials can be imported smoothly, and finished chips can be distributed worldwide without delays. In an industry where speed and reliability are everything, Singapore's world-class logistics network helps prevent costly production bottlenecks. Together, these factors make Singapore not just a prime destination for semiconductor companies, but an indispensable one. With its perfect mix of stability, innovation, and efficiency, Singapore is solidifying its place as a global semiconductor powerhouse. And the best part? Singapore is already gearing up for the future. As demand for semiconductors surges, driven by AI advancements and the electrification of vehicles, Singapore is seizing this moment. With a sharp focus on AI-powered technologies, the country is positioning itself to lead the way in this transformative industry. For example, ST Microelectronics manufactures silicon carbide (SiC) chips, essential for powering AI-driven data centers and electric vehicles. Global Foundries has launched a specialized facility which produces image sensors and radio frequency chips vital for next-generation AI-powered smartphones and autonomous vehicles. Additionally, companies like Micron are ramping up production of high-end memory chips in Singapore to meet the growing demand driven by generative AI applications. According to Bloomberg Intelligence, the generative AI market is projected to exceed $1 trillion in the next decade, and Singapore is poised to be a key supplier of the chips that power this technological revolution. But that's not all. As tensions escalate in the ongoing US-China trade war, semiconductor companies are scrambling to reduce their reliance on a single supply chain. In this race to de-risk operations, Singapore has emerged as a key winner, attracting billions in semiconductor investments from major global players. One of the most significant developments came in June 2024, when Vanguard International Semiconductor, an affiliate of Taiwan's TSMC, along with European chipmaker NXP, announced a staggering $7.8 billion investment in a new chip foundry in Singapore. This move reinforced the country's status as a crucial player in the semiconductor landscape. At the same time, Japan's Toppan Holdings, with the support of US semiconductor giant Broadcom, is setting up high-end substrate manufacturing facilities, further cementing Singapore's role in the industry's future. Singapore's neutrality gives it a unique advantage, allowing it to attract investments from both Western and Asian firms looking to hedge against geopolitical risks. With mounting pressure on companies to diversify their supply chains, Singapore is poised to be one of the biggest beneficiaries. Analysts predict that as this shift accelerates, these countries will capture a substantial share of global semiconductor investments, strengthening their positions as key semiconductor hubs. However, Singapore's ambitions in the semiconductor industry do not come without challenges. The escalating US-China trade conflict presents several potential risks that could disrupt its growth trajectory. One major concern is the tightening of US export restrictions on AI chips. The U.S. has imposed strict controls on the sale of advanced AI chips to China, particularly targeting companies like NVIDIA, whose GPUs are essential for AI model training. These restrictions raise concerns about potential disruptions in the global semiconductor supply chain, which could affect companies operating in Singapore. However, according to the Singapore government, the nation's semiconductor industry is largely shielded from these new US restrictions. This is because the US controls primarily target a narrow subset of advanced chips. Singapore's industry, on the other hand, is focused on producing mature node chips for a wide range of applications, including appliances, automotive, and industrial equipment. Yet, Singapore recently found itself at the center of controversy when reports surfaced that NVIDIA had billed 22% of its global sales to Singapore-based buyers. Speculation arose that some of these chips were being rerouted to China to bypass US export controls. Although Singapore later clarified that only a small fraction of these AI chips physically entered the country, the incident placed the city-state under global scrutiny, raising questions about its role in semiconductor trade flows. Another looming challenge is the potential return of protectionist policies in the US. President Donald Trump has repeatedly threatened to impose 25% tariffs on semiconductor chip imports, a move that could send shockwaves through the industry and impact Singapore's chip exports. If such tariffs materialize, Singapore's role as a semiconductor hub could face significant headwinds. Beyond geopolitics, the semiconductor industry itself is notoriously cyclical. While AI-driven demand is fueling a surge in chip production now, the risk of global overcapacity remains a pressing concern. If chip supply outpaces demand, the industry could experience another downturn, leading to price crashes and excess inventory. Singapore must navigate these uncertainties carefully to sustain its semiconductor dominance in the long run. Despite the challenges posed by geopolitical tensions and market uncertainties, Singapore remains steadfast in its commitment to strengthening its semiconductor industry. To maintain its competitive edge, the nation has laid out a comprehensive strategy focused on research and development, strategic partnerships, and infrastructure development. A cornerstone of Singapore's strategy is its relentless focus on research and innovation. In 2025, Prime Minister Lawrence Wong reaffirmed this commitment by pledging $1 billion Singapore dollars towards a cutting-edge chip research facility, ensuring the nation's continued leadership in semiconductor advancements. Research areas like heterogeneous integration, advanced photonics, and edge AI are receiving significant attention, keeping Singapore at the forefront of global innovation. Beyond technological advancements, Singapore is actively strengthening its semiconductor ecosystem by fostering collaboration between multinational corporations and local enterprises. One initiative in this effort is the Partnerships for Capability Transformation scheme, which promotes co-development between global industry leaders and domestic firms. This initiative not only drives technological innovation but also enhances Singapore's position as a leading semiconductor hub. By cultivating strong industry partnerships, Singapore is building a resilient, self-sustaining supply chain capable of withstanding geopolitical uncertainties while ensuring long-term stability for chipmakers operating within its borders. Singapore is also doubling down on infrastructure development to attract global chipmakers eager to capitalize on the AI boom. One of the key initiatives is to increase the land for wafer fabrication parks by 11%. Given the precision required in chip manufacturing, the land sites are strategically located near stable power and water supplies for uninterrupted cooling, while being carefully distanced from MRT stations and heavy industries to avoid disruptive vibrations. To enhance the appeal of these sites, Singapore is offering customized roads and new water pipelines, creating an optimized environment for semiconductor giants looking to set up operations. With these strategies in place, Singapore is not just preparing for the future of semiconductors, it is actively shaping it. Singapore's rise as a semiconductor powerhouse is no accident, it's the result of decades of strategic planning, investment, and innovation. As the world grapples with supply chain disruptions, AI-driven demand surges, and geopolitical tensions, Singapore has positioned itself as a safe harbor in an increasingly volatile industry. But here's something you might not know: Malaysia, Singapore's neighbor, is quietly making its own mark as a semiconductor giant too. How is this possible? Watch this video to find out more.